The basement.
The basement.
No!
The basement.
Oh, the basement.
I know that.
The basement.
Oh boy.
No!
Oh boy.
Am I dead?
The basement.
But nobody ever says that.
The basement.
The basement.
Wait.
The basement.
Hey everyone, I'm Stan,
I'm Guy.
and we're The Basement. And tonight on the Roundtable, this is part 2 of our August Roundtable. Part 1 covered SummerSlam. Mark, add the annotation right here, right in this region, and then right in here. Alright, you got it? Alright, moving forward, we're going to discuss some of the other stuff that's gone on in about the last week and a half. It's August 6th, so we don't have everything that's going on, but we've got a good chunk of it. And we're going to let Guy start out with some of the things that he has and he's brought to the table.
Well, first thing, kind of unimportant, I guess, jobbing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with jobbing. It, establishes some people, whatever, you're a destructive force.
Right.
However, the thing happening with Braun Strowman is the jobbing part of it is becoming a gimmick with the audience, where you're interviewing this random, independent wrestler that's going to face Braun Strowman. That is going to overshadow Braun Strowman sooner or later.
I think it's already starting to.
Yeah, as soon as that first guy, I don't even remember his name anymore.
James Ellsworth?
Yeah.
Something like that?
As soon as the internet was abuzz, there's that damn fly again. As soon as the internet was abuzz with him, it became about him and that whole jobbing gimmick, as opposed to Braun Strowman being a star in the WWE.
Right. And I'd like to point out that now out in the internet community, I said this like 3 weeks ago on tape. If you watch a previous video where I say it, is they're talking that they need to take somebody who is recently signed, going to the NXT, have them come in to do the job, and beat somebody, and then use that to build this person up. I want to throw that out that I had that. I'm not saying I'm the first person who had that idea, but I was talking about it long before it was internet rumor. So, yay me! I win for the first time ever. But no, I think that there's a point where the gimmick is starting to overshadow the reason that they were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we've seen it 2 weeks in a row, not liking it so much.
No, it gives off the vibe that you're embracing that gimmick.
Yep.
And, all well for Braun Strowman, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's ultimately Braun Strowman needs to establish who he is.
Yeah.
In order to be successful anyway.
Yeah.
It's not 1985. Being a giant man does not establish you as a star in the WWE anymore. It just really doesn't. And that's where my concern comes from.
And that actually segues in nicely to the next thing.
To your next point.
Which is Ryback.
Ryback.
Being a successful big dude.
Let's hit Ryback. He's officially released now.
Yeah, he's done. He is not part of the WWE anymore.
He plans on returning to the Independents. And Ryback established himself at least.
Yeah,
he established a personality. The whole Feed Me More gimmick, which, like it or hate it, it was something. And
it's definitely beat Skip Sheffield.
Yeah, way better than Skip Sheffield. But that's, he had at least established himself in some way. And you know what? He had kind of embraced the fact that he was the pre-show, the pre-show killer, whatever it was, because he was always on the pre-show.
But nothing really, really, truly worked with him because, not even Paul Heyman got him over. Right.
It's tough. You gotta have a guy. It takes a lot more. Somebody is lighting off fireworks outside. I don't know if you can hear that on the tape. But it doesn't...
It's my pyro.
It's your pyro?
It's my pyro.
His pyro for his entrance. No, we're no longer in an era where being a large man in the WWE guarantees success.
Being just a large man.
Yeah, you have to have charisma, and you have to have a gimmick that goes along with it, and charisma is a huge part of it now, and that is my concern with Braun Strowman, is the fact that he doesn't seem to have that charisma.
No, he doesn't talk. I mean, he's got that whole "I'm a big guy, I'm gonna beat you up" charisma, like, as opposed to most big guys that just, kick ass and
Yep.
leave. He
Yep.
actually shows that he's kicking someone's ass. Like,
Yeah.
he yells and rips off his, singlet or whatever you want to call it. As opposed to just sweating and be like, "Big Show."
Okay, you know what? Don't give the Big Show shit. I don't want to watch him wrestle necessarily, but you know what? He's based on everything I've read, he's an incredibly nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
And B, with what he's been given a lot of times, he's done incredibly well, and he's willing to be that enhancement talent now, which goes a long ways. But that we're moving off of the Ryback subject here, getting back on it. So basically, he's an independent now. Expect to see him in the independent. So be it.
He'll always have that WWE draw.
Yep.
Like, come see former WWE star Ryback.
Yeah.
As opposed to just come see Ryback.
Well, and it you know what? It worked. Got him to go to Heavy on Wrestling. I want to go see Ted DiBiase. We can get his autograph.
Yep.
Go see Sid Vicious, who no shows anyway.
Yep.
I mean, you get those guys, and that you can build a career off that because you had that national attention. But yeah, part of me is sad to see him go, but ultimately not that sad because he never really established himself in my heart one way or another.
No.
As far as I love him, I hate him. He was just kind of there. I wanted to when I first got back into wrestling. I really wanted to like him, and it was just I couldn't.
Put it in the perspective of would I buy a T-shirt? I don't think I would ever buy a Ryback T-shirt.
If I was given one, I'd wear it,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't buy it.
No.
And that's where I'm at with him. I'm kind of indifferent. There's some people who I'd never buy that T-shirt.
No.
But yeah, I agree. Continuing.
Live botching.
The live botches, and we're not talking about live. You botch a move. That happens.
Yeah.
You know what? It is what it is. You got guys like Zack Ryder that recover, do an amazing job with it. But whatever, that happens. These guys are performers. They're doing incredibly insane stuff. Sometimes they're gonna botch.
Mm-hmm. But
we're talking different botching.
Yeah, commentary botching, anything like that. I mean, it's tough to speak, to a camera.
Yep.
Because that's what we're doing right now, and sometimes I stutter and tripped over
I'll
my
tell you
words.
what, I'll mess up things all the time. You could probably go back through our videos and be like, "Oh, you guys are calling the kettle black." No, we're not getting paid big money to do this. We're not getting paid anything to do this. We do this because we enjoy doing this.
And we don't do it for years on end.
Right. And yeah, we're pretty new at this. We've only been doing this for like 6 months.
Yeah. But you got Daniel Bryan botching one of the wrestlers' names, not like, he botched it a little bit. He botched it pretty damn big.
Well, and it's not like he botched like I'm trying to think of an example of calling someone by their real name.
Yeah, it was Apollo Crews. He called Apollo Creed, which is the character on Rocky.
Right.
Which,
okay, I get that. That the fact that they call him Apollo Crews, it's kind of a play on that. But
yeah.
And I get it, it's on live television and whatever, and it's not like my side of the argument here is that Daniel Bryan hasn't been necessarily doing a speaking role. He has, but it's not necessarily his primary focus has not been speaking and being like an authority figure type character on television.
Yeah.
I get that. So there's probably some stress involved in that, and I love Daniel Bryan, don't get me wrong. When I first got back into wrestling, I was like, man, I'm not a big Daniel Bryan fan. The more I watched him, the more he won me over. He is incredibly talented. I appreciate all that. I'm not saying negative about Daniel Bryan.
No.
However, the botch, very noticeable.
It's 2 shows in a row where they've botched something.
Yep. And you know what? Here's the thing: is I expect it from JBL.
Yeah, or Michael Cole.
Well, but I mean, as far as on SmackDown, you're
Yeah.
talking JBL. I would expect JBL botches something.
Yeah.
It's JBL. That's what I expect. But you know, I didn't really. I guess ultimately, what makes it a thing to me is the fact that it was Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
He's so good at his craft, and he's such I don't want to say a perfectionist, but
Yeah.
he does such a tremendous job with everything that I find it strange that it's him who's botching.
Yeah. He knows the people. For him to call someone something entirely different is kind of,
It's strange.
yeah, a little bit. But it happens. Whatever.
Yep. Hopefully, we won't see it again this week.
Yeah. 3 nights or
Three Tuesdays in a row.
Yeah.
That would be rough. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe they'll make it his thing. That would be an interesting gimmick of like he's gonna botch something
Yeah.
every single week.
It'd be a
Be
real
hilarious.
killer. Staying on SmackDown, new titles.
New titles.
Nothing has been announced so far.
And we've been talking about these since our first roundtable, I
Yep.
believe. The very first roundtable we did, which was at the beginning of the year when the brand split was just kind of a new thing and wasn't necessarily happening.
Yep.
We had talked about there being new titles.
SmackDown needs more titles. They only
They
have
do.
2. Ones that they're going to add are a women's championship,
Which
and
I could give less than 2 shits about,
Yes.
to be fair.
their women's division sucks, terribly bad. And tag team championships.
Which I think the tag team champion, to me, once again, anybody who's watched our videos prior, I love tag team wrestling. Growing up, I loved the Rockers, I loved Demolition, I loved the Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom.
Moving forward, you know, through the years, there's always been tag teams that I've just been drawn to. And it's enjoyable to me. It's a good way to establish stars. So I'm very excited to see a tag team championship on SmackDown.
But nothing's been announced on SmackDown.
I believe
All I know-
rough news is fall.
Fall, yeah, that's all I know.
I would like
maybe at Backlash.
yeah, could be. I'd like to see one more singles title.
Yeah,
Whether you know,
like a television title.
a television title. I know that the television title has been run in the dirt time and time again, but it wouldn't be a bad thing to see a television title that is going to be defended every single week on a show you're trying to establish.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad thing. Or you know, something along the lines of the European Championship, I think, would be your other option. Either way, I think they need another singles title, especially if they're trying to establish some of these young guys as championship material.
Yeah.
Moving forward,
Staying on the title picture, they're using Roman Reigns now in the U.S. title picture.
oh, they've heard guys constant complaining. He sent 6 emails a day to WWE complaining about Roman Reigns potentially not being in a title picture. So they're listening to Guy and they're putting him in a title picture. I think this is more fitting for him, of building him as a character.
Yeah.
I once again, because I'm a failure at life, I failed to record Raw. I recorded SmackDown because I've set that as a standard recording. I did not record Raw. So Guy has more information about it than I do.
Well, basically, Rusev, crushed Mark Henry because that's what Rusev does. He beats people.
Yeah.
And Mark Henry was supposed to be the, this is my one last shot, give me one more run. And they pitted him against Rusev for the U.S. title, and Rusev beat him. And he went on a rant about how, nobody can beat me. This is the best you have to offer. And Roman Reigns came out. His music hit, and he came out. And at first I thought the crowd was cheering him, because it caught me off guard. And I was like, holy shit, are they actually cheering Roman Reigns? Which is, a good sign that this is a good thing for him in the, U.S. title hunt. He's not in the big picture. He's not getting shoved down anyone's throat.
Right.
He confronted Rusev in the ring. They had a stare off or whatever. Rusev was like, whatever, I'm gonna leave. And Roman Reigns stepped in front of him each time to do it. And then Rusev went to attack him, and Reigns got the better of him. went for a Superman punch, but Rusev ducked out of the ring and walked away. Reigns got out, launched himself off of the steel stairs, or steel steps, whatever, and hit him with the Superman punch. And the crowd booed, which that got me right back into it of, yep, they're actually booing him still, so...
Yeah, it's you can't force. You got to let Roman Reigns become what Roman Reigns is going to become, and I have the utmost respect for him. Actually, the more I've read about him, he is a hard worker, whatever, but I just don't like him.
I mean, he's one of those people again that has that tough guy charisma of, you know, if you just let him be the powerhouse of, you know, I'm gonna unleash. That can be his charisma.
Yep.
Don't have him hop on the mic and be like, yo, dude, I'm a bloodline, I'm a Samoan man, brah. You know, that's not charisma. That only works for certain people.
Yep.
It didn't even work for The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock had to, you know, become that wisecracking, charismatic person. He didn't have the Rocky Maivia Samoan thing wasn't working for him.
Yep.
I mean, it's...
Having the lineage isn't necessarily what's going to get you.
No, even Rikishi did his own thing.
Yep. Yeah, you got guys. You got to get yourself over with the crowd. The crowd. Ultimately, wrestling fans don't give two shits about where you come from. Really.
No. Although when he did the whole bloodline thing with the Usos, that could have worked. Mm-hmm. If they build it right. The bloodline stable could have been something good. But I don't know.
It disappeared real fast.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it could be good.
It could be interesting at the very least.
I don't think Reigns should win.
No.
I don't think Reigns should be the one that stops Rusev's title reign.
I don't know who you put in that role, but I think that...
Baron Corbin, I think you should put in that one. But he's on SmackDown, right? Yeah. I think so. I mean...
I don't know who you put in there as the guy who stops him.
Maybe you have someone come up from NXT.
Maybe you have a Samoa Joe slap him into a place.
Yeah, because that was the whole thing. Rusev was like, you don't have anyone that's going to take this away from me. Then Roman Reigns came out.
Or Nakamura or Tommy. You have one of those guys come in and beat the shit out of him. You know, the strong style guys that just knock the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Who knows? That'll be left to see. Moving forward.
One more thing from me. They're bringing back King of the Ring.
Thank God. I love King of the Ring.
I actually just had a thought on King of the Ring.
Okay.
They can include NXT people.
I'm not opposed to that.
So you have a certain set of SmackDown people, a certain set of Raw people, and NXT people.
So, I ultimately, here my thought on King of the Ring. We were talking about this earlier while we were barbecuing. I kind of view King of the Ring, a good way to push King of the Ring is you have your qualifying rounds, which is 16 wrestlers are in the qualifying round. And you have 8 wrestlers on SmackDown. You have 8 wrestlers on Raw. They have their matches. So you get your 8 participants. 4 from SmackDown, 4 from Raw. Then the following week, you can have that next round, the first round of the King of the Ring matches. And you have it go down again. So you have 4 from SmackDown and 4 from Raw. And then at the King of the Ring pay-per-view, you have those matches. You have, SmackDown A versus SmackDown B, Raw A versus Raw B, and the winners from each of those, one participant from Raw, one participant from SmackDown, face off to be King of the Ring.
That could be a good way for someone to get brought up from NXT too.
Well, and I'm not opposed to them inserting NXT guys in that picture.
Like a Nakamura, he could come in, be entered in King of the Ring, and win at the pay-per-view. And he's on the main roster now.
Yep.
It's a perfect way to bring him up.
And it could be, you could utilize any anyone on that roster.
Especially being king of strong style, he can be king of the ring.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it's the NXT roster has already rebounded.
Yeah.
It's already back to being just. There's so many guys on that roster that can just go. And there's a lot of talent that has been not necessarily poached from other organizations, but it's right back to good again. Yeah, I think it's deep, and I think that would work if they want to move somebody up. The things that I have, we're going to start with the Big E storyline. He's got a storyline groin injury. Real or fake?
I think it's fake.
I think it's fake as well.
'Cause how do you, if he has a legitimate groin injury, how do you have him wrestle in a match and then injure himself at the very end of the match?
Right.
I mean, if it's a legitimate enough injury to keep you out of action,
Yeah.
how can you do that?
What is the gain of it? That's my big question.
It's New Day. They could play it off as an injury to the groin and then find a way to make it funny.
Well,
and,
right. I get that, but I don't see where the payoff comes.
Unless they're trying to, even up the odds a little bit, so it's 2-on-2 instead of 3-on-2, because it is
Right.
the club only, part of the club.
And it's my only other thought on it is maybe they're trying to establish Xavier Woods as a bigger
Or
star.
that too, yeah. That
Because it's the
never-
Kofi Kingston Big E show.
yeah, you never ever see Xavier Woods wrestle.
And he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. It just establishing him as a superstar couldn't hurt.
Mhm.
And it'll be what it'll be. We'll see how it pans out. Next thing I have is Conor McGregor's comments, the UFC guy. I'm just going to touch on it briefly. I found it kind of funny. He basically came out and he said that Brock Lesnar is juiced to the gills, and the WWE superstars are a bunch of pussies, and that other than The Rock and Triple H and John Cena, like everybody else, they're a bunch of pussies. He's yet to see how the CM Punk guy is. He's just going to get drubbed, and then he's going to be like, yeah, he's a pussy too.
Well, his whole comment with Lesnar being juiced to the gills. Look at Lesnar when he debuted in the WWE as opposed to now. I mean, when he debuted, he was cut.
Yep.
He was ripped beyond ripped. His muscles had muscles. And now you look at him and you go, oh, he's fucking big. But he's not nearly as big as he was back then.
Yeah. And it is what it is. Everyone has the right to their own opinion. It just dispels all those rumors that were out there that he's going to make an appearance in WWE. Or
Yeah.
maybe it's all part of a big ploy. WWE has been known to have these grand schemes where, he's making these comments, he keeps making these comments, and somebody like Cena calls him out.
Yeah.
Who knows? That'll be left to be seen as well. Cruiserweights. Something we haven't talked about. I love the Cruiserweights too. We have yet to see the debut of the Cruiserweight division extensively.
I'm guessing it'll happen after the Cruiserweight Championship because they don't want to steal any thunder away from it, maybe?
Right. And I have that on here too. The Cruiserweight Championship. Very good, what I've seen. I've only seen most of the first round so far. I've been trying to watch it when I can.
I have not seen any. I don't have internet, so...
When they said that they got a bunch of guys who can go, they really did. From all over the world, different styles. It's really interesting to watch. If you have the network, I highly recommend watching it.
It's only $9.99 a month.
Yeah, and you get a free month. But no, it's very enjoyable, and it's a lot of young guys, very talented, and they've already signed some guys out of it.
Two names that I just saw that have not signed and might not sign are Zack Sabre Jr.
Correct.
and Kota Ibushi. That's his name?
The Japanese guy?
Yeah.
He's been appearing at NXT live events, so it's possible that he didn't sign.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's been a lot of talk, and Zack Sabre Jr. I'm gonna guess is he's valuing himself more than WWE is valuing him. But we've already seen Grand Metallic, which he has a different name he wrestles under in Mexico, but he was really impressive, and he has signed. as well. Rich Swann was an NXT guy already. He's impressive, and I think there was one more that signed already. I hope they sign a bunch of these guys, really. I realize that you only have so much roster space, but it was fun to watch, especially just the so diverse styles. And the guy, I don't remember his name, but the guy from Chile or somewhere in South America.
Yeah.
Great in the ring. Of just like he played the heel. He kind of Ric Flair sold things where he kind of almost oversold them, but he was entertaining as hell. And I'm like, at first I didn't think I wanted to watch the guy, but
Marge should throw in a gif of Ric Flair overselling
just
something.
like, woo, or doing where he falls down and he
Yep.
gets back up and starts to strut and falls
Yep,
over.
yep.
Throw that in, Marge, right there. But no, I love the cruiserweights. It brings such a different atmosphere, and in this case, you're not dealing with just like the lucha libre cruiserweight type stuff that we saw in the past. You're dealing with a little bit of everything, and it's fun. It's entertaining. Hopefully that ends. We see the Cruiserweight Championship show up, and then we start seeing the Cruiserweight matches on the main roster. I hope so, because I enjoy it. Another point I have is Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer was approached by the WWE, came out and said this. He was approached by the WWE to sign a contract, which is strange to me, because Tommy Dreamer physically isn't in the greatest shape, and I don't mean like he's out of shape like me. Like he's taken a beating in his life. And I love him. One part of me would love to see him come back, but the other part of me is like, I'd rather see him healthy and happy.
Yeah.
But he did not sign the contract because of his obligations to his company and his obligations to charity work, which I support. Good job, man. Don't sell out. Do the stuff you're doing. Not that that's ever been an issue for you. But the relationship between him and the WWE is still good.
See, now, me on the other hand, I will accept a contract offer. I don't care about my other stuff that I have going on. I will accept. Just saying.
We have no skills, but we'll take it.
Mhm.
You want to throw us on the announce table, we'll even do that.
Oh yeah, I'll job to Braun Strowman all day long.
Yep. I just mean we could replace JBL. The two of us replace JBL. Maybe. I only have two other things. One of them being, are they pushing Rhino?
I believe they are.
Rhino showed back up, and don't get me wrong, Rhino, the one guy in the whole world. I've read this on the internet, and I agree 100%. The only guy that the spear is a legitimate finisher for,
yeah.
because he's such a big dude.
He's a big little dude.
Yeah.
He's short, but
But he's just like, whoa.
He's like a
Like,
rhino.
He's the guy that I would not want to meet. One of those guys I wouldn't want to meet in a bar fight. And like, I take a beating from a lot of people in my life, but he's not somebody that I'd want to.
And he's another former ECW guy that
Yep.
has taken a lot of beatings.
Yeah.
And given a lot of beatings.
But that being said, it's weird to me that, that's just like, yeah, you gotta, now in order to get a contract,
You have to beat Rhino.
you gotta beat Rhino.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Kind of cool. Glad to see Rhino back. Confused by it being that he got the Republican nod for some Michigan
yeah.
office, which is weird that he's showing, I guess, promoting yourself. But cool to see him back. Glad to see him back. The final thing I have is just something that I got an email for, and I definitely want to do. It's called the Slam Crate, the WWE Slam Crate. It's basically a loot crate with WWE merch. So if it comes out, I'm definitely getting it. I'm going to cough up the cash and I'm going to get it. And we'll do openings on our roundtables. So that's coming soon, hopefully. And I'm looking forward to it. Anything else in the wrestling world that we may have missed?
I don't think so.
I mean, we've got a handful of just Shelton Benjamin's return.
Yep.
What's his name?
Kurt Hawkins.
Kurt
that
Hawkins.
I didn't know came back.
I didn't know he came back. He re-signed, I guess, in July, in the end of July. Some little stuff like that. I heard that some of the other people that there was talk about, not so much just because of money-wise. Like MVP.
Crime Time.
Didn't see anything on Crime Time.
I just read something on Crime Time.
I read that MVP wasn't offered enough money for his liking. But we'll see.
If you guys know anything that we don't, put it in the comments. And
Comment
we'll
down below. If you want to hear about our thoughts on SummerSlam, there's an annotation. This time, Mark put it up there. I guess I went right off the screen. Right there.
Kind of like
Right above Guy's head. Watch that video. And, like, subscribe. We're always putting out content, so subscribe, watch some more of us. And if not before, we will see you on the 15th of next month. Our videos always hit on the 15th, and sometimes there's some extras in between. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.